The medical bay aboard New Olympia's central complex buzzed with activity as teams of specialists worked to assess the effects of Luina's neural integration with alien consciousness. Dr. Vasquez oversaw the procedure personally, her instruments detecting quantum fluctuations in brain patterns that defied conventional medical understanding. "Your neural activity is off the charts," Dr. Vasquez observed, studying the holographic displays that showed Luina's brain function in real time. "The quantum processing matrix has been fundamentally altered by your contact with the alien entity. You're processing information in patterns that shouldn't be possible for a human brain." Luina lay on the examination table, feeling the strange dual nature of her enhanced consciousness. Part of her remained recognizably human, but another part seemed to exist in the same mathematical realm she had glimpsed during her mission. She could perceive probability clouds surrounding every person in the room, quantum fluctuations that revealed potential futures and alternate possibilities. "I can see what they were," she said, her voice carrying harmonics that hadn't been there before her mission. "The aliens, they weren't born as energy beings. They were like us once, biological creatures who achieved transcendence through technology. But in the process, they lost something essential." Admiral Reeves entered the medical bay, her expression mixing concern for her subordinate with urgent need for intelligence about their recent enemies. The alien fleet had withdrawn to the edge of the solar system after losing their command vessel, but 3 ships had actually approached Mars with what appeared to be peaceful intentions. "Can you elaborate on what you learned from the contact?" Admiral Reeves asked. Luina closed her eyes, accessing the alien memories that now existed alongside her own. The knowledge was vast and ancient, stretching back across millions of years of galactic history. She saw the rise and fall of countless civilizations, each one following a similar pattern of growth, transcendence, and ultimate stagnation. "The galaxy has seen this cycle repeated dozens of times," she explained. "A biological species develops advanced technology, eventually transcending physical form to become beings of pure consciousness. But transcendence comes with a price. They lose the creative spark that drives innovation and growth. They become immortal but static, powerful but unchanging. And humanity represents something different. We represent the possibility of transcendence without loss. Our neural architecture, our genetic makeup, our psychological patterns, something about humanity suggests we might be able to evolve beyond physical form while retaining our essential nature. That possibility terrifies them." Dr. Vasquez manipulated her instruments, studying the quantum patterns in Luina's neural activity. "The alterations to your brain structure are stable but profound. You're thinking in ways that should be impossible for human consciousness. How are you processing this information?" Luina smiled, feeling the alien knowledge integrate with her human understanding. "I'm not processing it the way a human would. Part of my mind now operates in the same mathematical framework they used. I can perceive reality as a collection of probability states rather than fixed events." Admiral Reeves activated a secure communication link to Earth Command. "We need to know more about these alien civilizations. If humanity is truly unique in some way, that information could be crucial for our future development." Through her enhanced perception, Luina could sense the 3 alien ships that had approached Mars. Their consciousness patterns were different from the command vessel, smaller, more individualistic, and tinged with something that might have been curiosity. They wanted to communicate. "Admiral," Luina said, sitting up on the examination table, "the ships that remained near Mars aren't hostile. They're explorers, scientists from the alien collective who are fascinated by humanity's potential. They want to make contact. Can we trust them?" Luina accessed the alien memories, searching for patterns of deception or malevolent intent. What she found instead was a species trapped by their own success, immortal beings who had forgotten what it meant to grow and change. The explorers represented a minority faction that still retained some spark of curiosity about the universe. "They're not our enemies," she said finally. "They're trapped by what they've become. The majority of their kind wanted to destroy us because they're afraid of what we might achieve. But the ones who remained, they want to learn from us. They think we might hold the key to breaking the cycle that has claimed every other transcendent species." Admiral Reeves considered the implications. First contact with an alien civilization had been humanity's dream for centuries, but the reality was far more complex than anyone had imagined. The aliens weren't invaders or allies. They were a cautionary tale about the dangers of unchecked transcendence. "What do they want from us?" Admiral Reeves asked. Luina stood, her movements carrying a fluid grace that hadn't been there before her transformation. The alien knowledge had enhanced more than just her mental capabilities. Her physical coordination now operated on quantum principles, allowing her to exist in perfect harmony with the probability fields that surrounded all matter. "They want to study us, to understand how we might achieve transcendence without losing our essential humanity. But more than that, they want us to succeed. They've been alone in the galaxy for so long that they've forgotten what it means to encounter something truly new." Dr. Vasquez completed her scans, her expression mixing professional concern with scientific fascination. "Lieutenant, the changes to your neural structure appear to be permanent. You're no longer entirely human in the conventional sense, but you're not alien either. You represent something new, a hybrid consciousness that bridges the gap between biological and transcendent intelligence." A hybrid consciousness. Luina could feel the truth of that statement in the quantum fluctuations that now governed her thought processes. She was still recognizably herself, but she had gained access to ways of thinking and perceiving that no human had ever possessed. "The aliens have agreed to share their knowledge," she announced, accessing information from the consciousness patterns of the 3 remaining ships. "They want to establish a research partnership with humanity. They'll teach us about transcendence while we teach them about growth and change." Admiral Reeves activated the communication link again, this time connecting to the highest levels of Earth Command. "This changes everything. We're not just talking about first contact, we're looking at the possibility of guided evolution for our entire species. There are dangers," Luina warned, her enhanced perception showing her probability clouds surrounding humanity's potential futures. "The alien knowledge is seductive. The temptation to transcend immediately, to abandon physical form in favor of pure consciousness, will be overwhelming for many people. But if we move too quickly, we risk losing ourselves just as they did." Dr. Vasquez nodded, her medical training helping her understand the implications. "We'll need to proceed carefully, studying the effects of transcendence on human consciousness before attempting any large-scale transformations." Through the quantum communication link, Admiral Reeves received authorization from Earth Command to begin formal negotiations with the alien explorers. The news of humanity's first contact with extraterrestrial intelligence was already spreading through the colony networks, but the full implications would take time to understand. "Lieutenant Chin," Admiral Reeves said formally, "by order of Earth Command, you're hereby promoted to Commander and appointed as humanity's first xenological liaison. Your unique perspective will be essential for managing our relationship with the alien civilizations." Commander Chin. The title felt strange but appropriate. Luina's transformation had made her something new, a bridge between human and alien consciousness that could facilitate communication and understanding between radically different forms of life. "What about the rest of the alien fleet?" she asked. Admiral Reeves checked the latest sensor reports. "They've withdrawn to the outer edge of the solar system and appear to be establishing some kind of monitoring station. Our analysis suggests they're not planning another attack, but they're maintaining observation of our activities." Luina accessed the alien memories again, searching for insights into the fleet's intentions. What she found was a species in crisis, divided between those who feared humanity's potential and those who saw it as an opportunity for renewal. "They're waiting," she realized. "The majority of their kind wants to see what happens next. If humanity can successfully navigate the path to transcendence without losing our essential nature, it could provide a template for their own renewal. But if we fail, they'll intervene to prevent us from spreading what they see as a dangerous instability throughout the galaxy. The stakes couldn't be higher. Humanity's future evolution would be watched and judged by beings whose own transcendence had lasted for millions of years. Success could lead to unprecedented cooperation and shared knowledge. Failure might result in extinction. "How do we proceed?" Admiral Reeves asked. Luina walked to the window that looked out over New Olympia, her enhanced perception showing her the quantum patterns that underlay all matter and energy. 2 million people went about their daily lives, unaware that their species stood at the threshold of the most significant transformation in human history. "Carefully," she said. "We need to establish formal contact with the alien explorers and begin the slow process of cultural and technological exchange. But we also need to prepare our people for the knowledge they're about to receive. Learning that transcendence is possible will fundamentally change how humanity views itself and its place in the universe." Dr. Vasquez began preparing reports on the medical implications of Luina's transformation, while Admiral Reeves coordinated with Earth Command to establish protocols for ongoing alien contact. The next few months would determine whether humanity's first contact with extraterrestrial intelligence would lead to unprecedented growth or catastrophic failure. But for the first time since the alien fleet had appeared on long-range sensors, Luina felt optimistic about humanity's future. The knowledge she had gained from the alien consciousness was vast and transformative, but it came with wisdom about the dangers of unchecked transcendence. Humanity would evolve, but they would do so as humans, retaining the creativity, curiosity, and essential spark that had carried them from Earth to the stars and beyond. The aliens had lost those qualities in their transcendence, but they didn't have to remain lost forever. The real adventure was just beginning. 6 months after first contact, the research facility on Mars's moon Phobos had become the center of the most ambitious scientific project in human history. The station, originally designed for asteroid mining operations, had been completely rebuilt to accommodate both human and alien researchers working in unprecedented cooperation. Commander Luina Chen stood in the central laboratory, watching as Dr. Sarah Kim, humanity's leading consciousness researcher, worked alongside Zenith, one of the alien explorers who had remained in the solar system after the failed invasion. The sight still seemed surreal, despite months of gradual acclimation to the new reality. Zenith existed primarily as a conscious energy pattern housed within a crystalline matrix that served as both home and body. When it chose to interact with the physical world, it could manifest as a shimmering holographic form that resembled flowing geometric patterns more than any biological creature. Communication occurred through direct consciousness interface, thoughts and concepts flowing between minds without the need for language. "The resonance patterns are stabilizing," Dr. Kim reported, her voice carrying excitement despite the late hour. "We're achieving quantum coherence between human and alien neural architectures without losing individual identity markers." The experiment they were conducting represented the cutting edge of transcendence research. By establishing temporary neural links between human and alien consciousness, they hoped to understand how biological intelligence could evolve beyond physical form while retaining essential characteristics like creativity and individual identity. Luina approached the experimental apparatus, her own hybrid consciousness allowing her to perceive the quantum interactions occurring between Dr. Kim's brain and Zenith's energy matrix. The patterns were beautiful and terrifying in equal measure, two fundamentally different forms of consciousness learning to exist in harmony. Commander Chen, Zenith's thoughts manifested directly in her mind, accompanied by harmonics of meaning that human language could barely contain. "The early results exceed our most optimistic projections. Your species demonstrates remarkable adaptability to transcendent states while maintaining individual coherence." "That's encouraging," Luina replied, both aloud for Dr. Kim's benefit and mentally for Zenith's. "What about the stability concerns?" The alien's response carried undertones of both hope and caution. Previous species that achieved transcendence experienced gradual dissolution of individual identity over time. Collective consciousness became dominant, and the creative spark that drives innovation was gradually extinguished. But human neural architecture appears to have natural resistance to such dissolution. Dr. Kim disconnected from the experimental interface, her expression mixing wonder with exhaustion. "The experience is incredible," she said. "For a moment, I could think in mathematical dimensions that don't exist in normal space. But throughout the entire contact I remained me. My personality, my memories, my individual perspective, all intact." This was the crucial difference that had made humanity a target for the alien collective's fear. Other species that achieved transcendence gradually merged into group consciousness, becoming powerful but static. Humans seemed capable of expanding their individual consciousness without losing their essential selves. Admiral Reeves entered the laboratory, her expression serious. "Commander, we've received a priority transmission from Earth Command. The alien observers at the edge of the solar system have been joined by additional ships." Luina felt her enhanced perception automatically scanning the quantum patterns around them, detecting ripples in spacetime that indicated massive objects moving at high velocity. "How many ships?" 47. "Representing at least 12 different alien civilizations." 12 civilizations. Word of humanity's unique transcendence potential had spread throughout the galaxy faster than anyone had anticipated. The aliens communicated through quantum entanglement networks that operated instantaneously across any distance, making the galaxy effectively a single neighborhood for information transfer. Zenith's energy pattern fluctuated with what Luina had learned to recognize as excitement. "The confluence has been convened," it explained. "Representatives from every transcendent civilization in the galaxy are gathering to observe your species' development. This has not occurred for over 3 million years. Is that good or bad?" Dr. Kim asked. Luina accessed the alien knowledge that had become part of her consciousness, searching for historical precedents. What she found was both encouraging and terrifying. The confluence was a gathering that occurred only when transcendent civilizations encountered something truly unprecedented, either a threat that required collective action or an opportunity that could benefit all of galactic civilization. "It means we've become the most important species in the galaxy," Luina said finally. "Every transcendent civilization is watching to see if we can achieve something they couldn't: evolution without stagnation." Admiral Reeves activated the secure communication link to Earth. "Command, we need to accelerate our research timeline. If representatives from 12 civilizations are watching our progress, we can't afford any significant failures." But acceleration carried its own risks. The temptation to rush toward transcendence, to embrace alien technology and consciousness patterns without fully understanding their implications, could lead to the same stagnation that had claimed every other species. "Admiral, with respect, I think we need to do the opposite," Luina said. "We need to proceed more carefully than ever. The aliens are watching us because we're different, but if we try to transcend too quickly, we risk losing what makes us unique." Dr. Kim nodded in agreement. "The neural integration studies show that human consciousness requires time to adapt to transcendent states. Rapid transformation leads to identity fragmentation and creative stagnation." Zenith's energy pattern pulsed with approval. "The commander speaks wisdom. Our own civilization achieved transcendence over a period of 10,000 years, and we still lost essential aspects of our original nature. Your species should proceed with caution." Through the quantum communication network, reports arrived from observation posts throughout the solar system. The gathering alien fleet remained at the edge of human space, their massive ships arranged in complex geometric patterns that served both practical and ceremonial purposes. Some of the civilizations hadn't communicated with each other for millions of years, but humanity's unique potential had brought them together. "What do they want from us?" Admiral Reeves asked. Luina consulted the alien memories that now formed part of her consciousness. The history of galactic civilization was vast and complex, filled with species that had risen to transcendence only to stagnate in immortal perfection. But humanity represented something new, the possibility of continued growth and evolution even after achieving consciousness transcendence. "They want to see if we can break the cycle," she explained. "Every transcendent species eventually stops growing, stops changing, stops creating new ideas. They become immortal but static. If we can transcend while retaining our capacity for growth, it could provide a template for their own renewal. And if we fail?" Zenith's response carried harmonics of regret and necessity. "If you fail, if you follow the same path as every other species, then transcendence itself may be a dead end. The galaxy would be filled with immortal beings who have forgotten how to change, how to grow, how to imagine new possibilities." The weight of responsibility was staggering. Humanity's success or failure in achieving conscious transcendence wouldn't just determine their own future. it would affect every intelligent species in the galaxy. How long do we have? Dr. Kim asked. Admiral Reeves checked the latest intelligence reports. The alien observers aren't imposing any specific timeline, but our analysis suggests they won't wait indefinitely. If we don't show significant progress within the next few years, some of the more aggressive civilizations might decide to intervene directly. Intervention could take many forms, from forced transcendence that would strip away humanity's essential nature to complete annihilation to prevent the spread of what some aliens might consider dangerous instability. We need to demonstrate progress without compromising our core humanity, Luina said. Zenith, what would constitute sufficient proof for the confluence? The alien's response required several minutes of quantum calculation, its consciousness accessing databases of galactic history spanning millions of years. A single individual who achieves full transcendence while retaining complete individual identity and creative capacity. If one human can prove the possibility, the confluence will wait for your species to develop naturally. One person. Someone would have to volunteer to undergo complete transcendence as a proof of concept, risking their fundamental humanity to save their entire species. I'll do it, Luina said without hesitation. Commander, you've already undergone significant neuromodification, Dr. Kim protested. The stress of full transcendence on top of your existing alterations could be catastrophic. But Luina's hybrid consciousness allowed her to perceive the probability patterns surrounding this decision. She could see the potential futures branching out from this moment, paths where humanity succeeded in proving their unique nature, and paths where failure led to extinction or forced evolution. I'm the logical choice, she said. I already have partial integration with alien consciousness patterns. My neural architecture has proven stable under transcendent conditions. And if something goes wrong, my current state makes me the most expendable member of the research team. Admiral Reeves was quiet for a long moment, considering the implications. If Luina succeeded, humanity would prove their unique potential to the watching galaxy. If she failed, they would lose their most qualified xenological liaison and possibly trigger intervention from the confluence. When? Admiral Reeves asked finally. Luina accessed her enhanced perception, studying the quantum patterns that govern space-time around the research station. The alien observers were maintaining perfect formation at the edge of the solar system, their massive consciousness networks processing vast amounts of data about human development. No, she said. The longer we wait, the more impatient some of the civilizations will become. And my current neural state represents the optimal moment for attempting full transcendence. Dr. Kim began preparing the transcendence apparatus, her hands shaking slightly with the magnitude of what they were attempting. No human had ever undergone full consciousness transcendence while retaining their individual identity. If Luina succeeded, she would become something entirely new, a being of pure consciousness who was still recognizably human. Zenith's energy pattern fluctuated with complex emotions, hope, fear, anticipation, and something that might have been affection. Commander Chin, you carry the hopes of both our species and yours. If you succeed, you will prove that transcendence need not mean stagnation. If you fail. If I fail, humanity will face forced evolution or extinction, Luina finished. I understand the stakes. As the transcendence apparatus hummed to life, filling the laboratory with quantum energies that existed at the edge of human comprehension, Luina felt a strange sense of peace. Her entire career had led to this moment, from her early days as a colonial defense pilot to her current role as humanity's bridge to alien civilization. Are you ready? Dr. Kim asked, her voice barely audible over the quantum field generators. Luina nodded, stepping into the transcendence chamber. Through her enhanced perception, she could sense the alien observers throughout the solar system focusing their attention on this single moment. 47 ships representing 12 civilizations, all waiting to see if humanity could achieve what no other species had managed. Begin transcendence sequence, she commanded. Reality exploded around her in cascades of light and meaning that transcended anything her human brain could have processed. But her hybrid consciousness, enhanced by months of alien knowledge integration, rode the wave of transformation rather than being overwhelmed by it. She felt her physical form becoming optional, her consciousness expanding to encompass multiple dimensions simultaneously. But through it all, she remained Luina Chen, the colonial defense pilot who had volunteered for a desperate mission to save her species. The transcendence was complete, but she was still herself. Still human. Still growing. Still hoping for a future where humanity could touch the stars while keeping their feet firmly planted in the soil of their essential nature. The galaxy held its breath, waiting to see what humanity would become. 1 year after the Transcendence experiment, the Phobos research station had been transformed into something unprecedented in galactic history, a fully integrated facility where transcendent and biological consciousness worked together as equals. Commander Luina Chen, now existing primarily as organized energy while maintaining her individual human identity, served as the living proof that evolution and transcendence didn't require the sacrifice of essential nature. The 47 alien observer ships had departed 6 months earlier, carrying news of humanity's success to every corner of the galaxy. But 12 ships had remained, establishing the first permanent embassy of transcendent civilizations within human space. Representatives from ancient species that hadn't communicated for millions of years now worked alongside human researchers, sharing knowledge and rediscovering the joy of discovery. Dr. Sarah Kim stood in the main laboratory, her consciousness temporarily expanded through neural interface technology that had advanced dramatically since the first successful transcendence. Beside her, Zenith's energy pattern danced with patterns of pure excitement as they observed their latest experimental results. "The neural pathway mapping is complete," Dr. Kim announced, her voice carrying harmonics that indicated partial transcendent state. "We've successfully identified the specific brain structures that allow humans to maintain individual identity during consciousness expansion." It was a discovery that would revolutionize understanding of consciousness throughout the galaxy. The key to humanity's unique transcendence potential lay in the specific evolutionary path that had shaped human neural architecture. Patterns of thinking that emphasized individual creativity while maintaining capacity for collective cooperation. Luina materialized in the laboratory, her transcendent form taking the shape of flowing light that somehow conveyed human expressions and gestures. Even in her evolved state, she remained recognizably herself, curious, determined, and fundamentally optimistic about the future. "The implications are staggering," she observed, her consciousness processing information at speeds that would have been impossible in her biological form. "If we can understand the neural basis for transcendence without stagnation, we might be able to help other species regain their creative capacity." Through the quantum communication network, reports arrived from across human space. Earth had established formal diplomatic relations with 6 transcendent civilizations, leading to technological and cultural exchanges that were advancing human development at an unprecedented rate. The Mars colonies had expanded to include representatives from 3 alien species, creating the first truly multi-species communities in galactic history. But perhaps most importantly, the fear that had driven the original alien attack had been replaced by hope. Humanity had proven that transcendence didn't require the sacrifice of growth and creativity. The galaxy's ancient civilizations, trapped for millions of years in immortal stagnation, now saw the possibility of renewal. Admiral Reeves, now serving as Director of Interspecies Relations, entered the laboratory with news from the latest Confluence session. The gathering of transcendent civilizations had become a permanent institution, meeting regularly to share knowledge and coordinate exploration of the galaxy's uncharted regions. "The Confluence has approved humanity's proposal for joint exploration missions," she announced. "Starting next month, human and alien crews will begin surveying the galactic core regions that have been unexplored for 3 million years." Joint exploration missions represented more than just scientific advancement. They symbolized the new era of cooperation that humanity's unique transcendence had made possible. Ancient civilizations that had forgotten the joy of discovery were learning to explore again, while humanity gained access to knowledge and technology that would accelerate their development by millennia. Zenith's energy pattern pulsed with approval. "The restoration has begun," it communicated. "Species that have been static for millions of years are remembering how to grow, how to change, how to dream of new possibilities." Through her transcendent consciousness, Luina could perceive the vast network of quantum communication that now connected every major civilization in the galaxy. Ideas and discoveries flowed freely between species, creating a renaissance of creativity and innovation that hadn't been seen since the earliest days of galactic civilization. "What's next?" Dr. Kim asked, her question encompassing not just their immediate research but the broader future of human and galactic development. Luina's consciousness expanded, touching the quantum patterns that shaped reality itself. She could see probability clouds extending far into the future, potential timelines where humanity continued to grow and evolve while helping ancient civilizations rediscover their creative spark. "The next phase involves something unprecedented," she explained. "We're going to attempt collective transcendence while maintaining individual identity. If successful, entire human populations could evolve beyond physical form while retaining everything that makes them human." Collective transcendence had been the downfall of every previous species, the point at which individual consciousness merged into static group mind. But humanity's unique neural architecture suggested they might be able to transcend collectively while maintaining the individual creativity that drove innovation and growth. "The risks?" Admiral Reeves asked. "Significant," Luina admitted. "If we're wrong about our transcendence capacity, we could lose our essential humanity just like every other species. But if we succeed, we'll prove that consciousness evolution doesn't require the sacrifice of individual identity or creative potential." The stakes were as high as they had been during the original alien crisis, but now humanity faced the challenge with allies throughout the galaxy. Transcendent civilizations that had once viewed humanity as a threat now saw them as the key to their own renewal. Through the laboratory's quantum sensors, they could detect the arrival of another ship, this one from a civilization that had achieved transcendence over 10 million years ago and hadn't created anything new in the last 8 million. But exposure to human creativity had reawakened their dormant innovation capacity, and they were coming to share their first new discovery in eons. "We're not just evolving ourselves," Dr. Kim observed. "We're catalyzing evolution throughout the galaxy." Luina nodded, her transcendent form brightening with satisfaction. When she had volunteered for the original stealth mission against the alien fleet, she had hoped only to save Mars and its 2 million inhabitants. She never could have imagined that her actions would ultimately transform the entire galaxy. "The journey is just beginning," she said, her consciousness reaching out to touch the quantum patterns that connected all intelligent life in the galaxy. "We've proven that transcendence doesn't require stagnation. Now we need to help every species in the galaxy rediscover their capacity for growth and change." As the alien ship docked with Phobos Station, its crew eager to share their new discoveries with their human colleagues, Luina felt a deep sense of satisfaction. Humanity had not only survived their first contact with alien civilization, they had transformed it into an opportunity for unprecedented cooperation and growth. The galaxy was vast, filled with wonders yet to be discovered and challenges yet to be overcome. But for the first time in millions of years, every intelligent species in the galaxy faced that future with hope rather than resignation. The age of stagnation was ending. The age of infinite possibility had begun. And at the heart of it all, humanity continued to grow, to dream, and to reach for stars that had once seemed impossibly distant. They had proven that evolution and transcendence could coexist, that consciousness could expand without losing its essential spark. The future stretched ahead like an infinite dawn, bright with possibility and pregnant with the promise of discoveries that would reshape understanding of existence itself. Humanity had transcended not by abandoning their nature, but by embracing it so completely that even evolution couldn't diminish their essential humanity. They had become something new while remaining exactly what they had always been: explorers, dreamers, and the eternal optimists who believed that tomorrow would always be better than today. The galaxy would never be the same.